Tonight on CTV News at 11:30. 2 months ahead of a big layoff, help is on the way for affected Algoma workers.
It's been really helpful. We've got to hear a lot of different ideas, different perspectives.
Sault College set up a session to make sure they're prepared. Plus, reaction continues to pour in over new homeless figures.
Disproportionate would be a reasonable term to describe the numbers between Northern Ontario and Southern Ontario.
Experts say more needs to be done. And despite all the snow, one Timmins school board says students are still coming.
We have an attendance initiative. It's called Attendance Matters.
They're seeing high numbers after 13 snow days so far this year.
CTV News at 11:30 with Ian Campbell and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Thanks for staying up with us. We begin tonight in Sault Ste. Marie, where 1,000 Algoma Steel workers are set to be laid off in just over 2 months. Today, Sault College hosting a session to help those employees understand their options. CTV's Corey Nordstrom starts us off.
Last month, 1,000 Algoma Steel employees were given layoff notices effective March 23rd.
I knew that the situation will come, but as the plan was like it will come, this kind of thing will happen in 2028. I was prepared for that, but it came almost 2.5 years early. That was shocking. I'm not prepared for that.
To prepare those employees for their time after the steel plant, Sault College has hosted 4 information sessions. On hand to offer support, officials with the newly opened Steelworker Power Action Center, employment professionals, and college staff.
We offered information in a classroom about employment supports available, the programs we offer, and then accessibility into them through our academic upgrading or through continuing education. And then we opened up a fair style type of information so everybody can talk one-on-one about their own personal situation so that we really are delivering support in any way that might be needed.
So far, it's been really helpful. We've got to hear a lot of different ideas, different perspectives, a lot of different people to talk to about what might be available, both for retraining or trying to immediately get back into the workforce.
Among the first steps was the advice to contact or visit the Action Center at 68 Dennis Street.
The Action Center itself actually opened up on January the 5th. It's manned. We're still ramping up, but we're actively engaged with all the employees of Algoma Steel that received notice, as well as suppliers who have been impacted by the downsizing Algoma as well.
Kirkland suggests laid-off steelworkers should visit the Action Center as soon as possible and not wait until their employment insurance nears its end before acting. He advises them to bring their resume and any training documents they have to help with their job search. Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
A murder trial in Sault Ste. Marie ended yesterday when the accused in the case changed his plea to guilty. Stephen Jones of Toronto admitted to killing a 22-year-old woman and stabbing a man in June 2023. Jones pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in the death of Taylor Marshall, who was stabbed in her apartment. He also pleaded guilty to attempted murder for stabbing Liam Frenette in an attack that took place the same day on the city's boardwalk. A Gladu report has been ordered and the case returns to court January 21st when a date will be set for sentencing. 2 people face drug trafficking charges after an investigation in Sudbury uncovered $31,000 in cocaine, fentanyl, and oxycodone. Police say the illicit drugs, along with $12,000 in cash, were found after a search of an apartment on Desmarais Avenue. One of the people arrested was a 21-year-old from Sudbury. Reaction continues to pour in over shocking and staggering new homeless numbers in Northern Ontario. According to the figures from the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, housing supply, prevention initiatives, and support systems aren't keeping up with an increase in demand. CTV's Eric Tashner reports.
Homelessness in Northern Ontario has increased by 37% from 2024 to 2025, according to a new report which studied Ontario's homelessness data. The rate is much higher when compared to the rest of the province.
Disproportionate would be a reasonable term to describe the numbers between Northern Ontario and Southern Ontario.
A report called Municipalities Under Pressure 1 year later finds that while Northern Ontario represents 5% of the province's population, it now accounts for nearly 10% of all homelessness in Ontario.
There's a lot more collaboration and coordination happening among partners in communities. That being said, I'd be hard-pressed to see any other real progress.
Indigenous people account for more than 40% of homelessness in the north. In just 1 year, the number of people experiencing homelessness in Northern Ontario rose from 5,900 to 8,100.
Investments in the heart hubs is a good first start in the province, but we know that there aren't heart hubs everywhere.
The report finds the crisis is shaped by structural housing shortages, not short-term disruptions like job loss, and that a limited availability of affordable housing hinders people's attempts to get off the streets.
We need to dig deep into those federal, provincial, and local pockets and start building more houses.
We do have a proposed meeting with Rob Flack, who is the Minister of Housing. That would be through NOSDA.
This pressure contributes to longer shelter stays, increased chronic homelessness, and rising system costs across health, emergency, and social services.
All these studies and reports that go back, emphasize the system and the problems that we face.
Beyond its human toll, the report also finds homelessness is undermining economic stability. Northern Ontario municipalities are absorbing rising costs for emergency shelters, healthcare, public safety, and encampment response. Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
There have been 13 snow days in Timmins so far this school year, but an area school board says it's pleased with the number of students who have shown up, especially after the big blizzard at the end of December. When more than 60 centimeters walloped Timmins on December 29th, District School Board Ontario Northeast says by last week, attendance at its Timmins schools ranged from about half to 85% of the student population. Timmins High and Vocational School pivoted to online learning, but as of this week, it's back to the classroom.
We have an attendance initiative. It's called Attendance Matters. We're in year 4, and we've really tried to highlight the importance of attending school. In fact, if a student misses a day of school, there's some research from Godfrey and Ansary that says they miss almost a day and a half, if not 2 days of learning. So there are great things happening in our classrooms, even if it's a small number of students. So we really encourage our students and our families to have their children come to school.
When transportation is canceled due to weather and poor road conditions, schools remain open so students can still attend. More delays in the construction of the school in Parry Sound after the province terminated its agreement with the contractor of the new building. Education Minister Paul Calandra made the announcement in an open letter to parents on the Near North District School Board's website. The new JK through grade 12 school was supposed to be ready last September, but the board announced in August it would not be ready in time. The delay and the way it was handled prompted an investigation into the board, which led the province to take control. A change made last year to provincial legislation surrounding tire collection is causing an excess of stockpiles, and those tires are piling up in one Sudbury community. CTV's Madison Merrier has more.
After 1 year with a new tire recycling amendment in Ontario, tires are piling up. According to the Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Parks, as of January 8th, the ministry determined that the William Dade Construction in Isilda was storing more tires than permitted under its environmental compliance approval. The company has begun removing tires and volumes are expected to continue declining in the coming weeks. CTV News reached out to William Dade Construction but did not receive a response by our deadline. Experts say the issue at hand is before January of 2025, 85% of used tires were collected by weight and amount to be recycled each calendar year. But after the amendment, that dropped to 65% yearly until 2029.
It's a little bit difficult to compare the two apples to apples because you go from 2 targets to 1, but most certainly the 65% target that was introduced was lower than the tire generation in the province of Ontario, which has led to some of the large-scale backlogs and surpluses that we have in the province right now.
Moffat said the challenge is the backlog, and it's extremely difficult to clean up.
The challenge there becomes, how do you mitigate this going forward, especially with the spring tire season coming, our second busiest time of the year? And I would say based on the amount of tires that are in the province, we will not be able to get the province cleaned up before the spring rush hits, which will put us even further back again.
Tire manufacturers are responsible for collecting the used ones, hiring pros to meet requirements. Moffat says they're supposed to start collection again this year, but it hasn't come to full fruition yet.
One of the growing concerns that we have with that is if it remains stagnant as it is right now, I'm not sure that enough tires are being collected today to even keep up with the generation of new tires, let alone the inventories and the large stockpiles that are carrying forward from last year.
Consumers pay the recycling fee with their initial purchase. However, once pros and producers meet the 65% quota, tires may continue to pile up. Madison Marier, CTV News, Sudbury.
Well, it's Wednesday, and every Wednesday we take time out to interview a mayor from around our region about issues involving them in a segment we call the Mayor's Chair. And earlier today, I spoke with Temagami Mayor Dan O'Meara, who told us about a TV show that filmed there this past summer, which is putting Temagami on the map.
This summer, we had a series called Extracted. It's a Fox television survival competition series that places untrained participants in remote wilderness locations where they must endure challenging conditions with limited resources. Family members or friends are also located nearby in a remote command center and are tasked to assist and assess their loved ones, and when required, they can get them extracted to safety. Last one out gets $250,000. I encourage everybody to go watch season 1, and that was filmed in BC. This one was filmed in Temagami, and it actually brought in almost $2.8 million was spent in putting this on. And you know what? Temagami now is on the will be watched by other film industries, and we're trying to encourage that and become part of that, because Temagami has a lot to offer when it comes to what we have to offer in terms of our area, and we're pretty excited. And the season 2 is going to be aired January 26, 2026, 8 p.m. on Fox Network, and we want to make sure everybody's watching it because it was filmed in the north.
Our thanks to Mayor Dan O'Meara. Lots of stuff happening over there in Temagami. That full interview and conversation is up on our website at ctvnewsnorthernontario.ca. Next week, we'll sit down with Mayor Jeff Laferriere of Timiskaming Shores. Time now for a short break here on CTV News. Coming up, Rick, we'll have your full weather forecast. For now, we'll look at the current conditions. And what a difference 24-hour makes. It is downright frigid out there. Minus 22, minus 23 actually, the coldest in Chapleau, minus 21 in Sudbury, minus 19 in North Bay, minus 19 in Temagami. We'll have details after the break.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Well, there's a reason why I have to wear a hat in the winter months. It's cold outside right now, right across Northeastern Ontario. And of course, with the wind chill, it's even colder. Forecast radar sunny and cold for tomorrow. We'll get a break. We'll get a break in terms of flurry activity and some snow squalls and what have you. But again, we have periods of snow come Friday, milder temperatures. But again, get ready for the wind chill and some colder weather coming up for tomorrow. Sudbury Nickel Belt, here we go. Sunshine at minus 15, colder with the wind chill. Friday, periods of snow as it warms up, minus 7, minus 10 on Saturday, chance of snow. Chance of snow on Sunday at minus 14 and chance of flurries Monday. Also, another minus 14-degree day. How about Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, sun and cloud tomorrow, minus 11. Periods of snow on Friday, only minus 4 the expected high. Saturday, chance of snow, minus 8, minus 11 Sunday, chance of snow. And come Monday, some cloud cover and minus 11. And you'll do it all over again come Tuesday, cloud cover and minus 11. Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, some sun and cloud tomorrow, minus 17. Chance of snow on Friday, minus 12. Chance of flurries Saturday, minus 15. Minus 19 your high on Sunday with the chance of flurries. Cloud cover Monday at minus 18 and minus 18 come Tuesday. Sun and cloud in the forecast. Normally you should be sitting at around minus 11, but a lot colder over the course of the next couple of days. Timiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake, clearing tomorrow, minus 15, warming up to minus 7 Friday, chance of snow. Chance of snow Saturday, minus 10, minus 15 Sunday, chance of flurries. Then the clouds roll in Monday, minus 15 again on Tuesday with sun and cloud. Now North Bay and West Nipissing. Mainly sunny for tomorrow, -13 your expected high. Periods of snow on Friday, -8, -9 Saturday, and -13 Sunday. You've got the chance of snow both days. Chance of flurries on Monday at -14, and the sun and cloud roll in. Tuesday, also another -14 degree day. Take a look at some of these evening temperatures. You go from -11 to -17 to -20, -19, and -18. Some cold nights ahead in North Bay and West Nipissing. So change in conditions, Ian. We go from mild weather yesterday to flash freeze for today. Wind chill in effect overnight. And of course, that trend will continue tomorrow with the sunshine in Northeastern Ontario. Back to you.
But it's still going to be cold. Thanks, Rick. The Temagami Region Conservation Authority is one of the conservation authorities in Ontario that will be impacted by the province's amalgamation plans. Ontario wants to combine 36 conservation authorities into 7 large regional areas. Local officials with the MRCA oppose the new model, saying the concept doesn't make sense to join other conservation authorities that are so far away. They say they have a good working relationship with the city of Timmins, and only 5% of their overall funding comes from the province. Most comes from the municipality, permit fees, and grants. Between now and spring, the province plans to review consultation results and finalize governance structures.
Watershed is a little different. We run north to James Bay. We're the only one of the 36 whose waters run north. Everyone else, all the other 35 conservation authorities run to the Great Lakes or St. Lawrence. So we have nothing in common from a watershed basis. So provided they're looking at some logistical enhancements or synergies, we already do that with our municipality, and we're not sure how that's going to enhance what we do and how we do it with partnering us with other conservation authorities that are hundreds and hundreds of kilometers away.
The province says it wants to streamline operations, but it is reviewing feedback to determine next steps. A statement from the Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Parks says in part, to be clear, conservation authorities will continue to provide the same programs and services they deliver today. Their mandate, service areas, and funding models will remain unchanged, and boards will continue to be municipally appointed. The heads of Sudbury's post-secondary institutions were front and center at today's Chamber of Commerce luncheon, while conversations around higher education have recently focused on the impact of the federal cap on international students. Today's conversation centered on retaining talent here in the North. CTV's Amanda Hicks reports.
It was a full house as leaders from Laurentian University, Nawsum University, Cambrian College, and Collège Boreal gathered for the Chamber of Commerce President Series luncheon.
I think it's important for businesses in the community to know and be aware of what's going on at the local post-secondary institutions. We're in a knowledge economy. The more education the workforce has, the better equipped they are to contribute to it.
Today's conversation centered on recruitment and retention.
Getting our learners out into communities, particularly for extended periods of time, is the biggest impact in what careers they choose and where they choose to live. So for us, it's maintaining that distributed model, and it's very successful for us. If people do both their medical degree and their residency training program with Nawsum University, almost 90% of them remain and work in Northern Ontario long term.
Having those placements, who are non-paid placements, so giving that student an opportunity to get that practical experience to actually meet employers, and vice versa. The employer actually has an opportunity to work with the students, not just in the interview process, but really get to know that individual. And a huge percentage of that time, those employers are hiring those students.
All post-secondary institutions have officially signed a memorandum of understanding, signifying their commitment to work together on that front.
So for example, students start at Cambrian, may finish a degree at Laurentian. Some students might start at Laurentian and come to Cambrian for a grad certificate. If students can access all of their needs and wants within one city, then we'll retain them.
But while the long-term outlook is collaborative, a short-term cloud hangs over the city's largest campus. Laurentian University's Faculty Association is in a legal strike position as early as Monday.
We understand that, this can be an anxious time for students. I think it's really important that they watch the messaging coming from the university where we can provide more guidance in the case that it's needed.
With the post-secondary landscape continuously shifting, the Chamber says the bridge between campus and the business community has never been more vital. Amanda Hicks, CTV News, Sudbury.
Well, if all this cold, frigid weather has got you down, there's one Northern Ontarian that seems to like it. The amazing team over at the Cochrane Polar Bear Habitat capturing this magical moment of Henry playing in the snow with a gourd under the caption, "Pumpkins can be food and fun." They certainly can. You go, Henry. I'll think of him tonight with all of this downright frigid weather. Too cute. Still ahead tonight on CTV News. We'll take you to Peterborough, where the best of the best faced off tonight over in the OHL. It was a relatively quiet night out on the ice, short of that whole best of the best thing, as the OHL showcased its top prospects, which included some of Northern Ontario's own star players. Take a look at this.
Salandra has it, looking, snapshot, stop, they score!
North Bay's Ryder Callie helps trickle one pass to find the back of the net on the power play to get Team East on the board. It was a busy night of back and forth scoring, but Team West walks away with the win and a final score of 4-2. We have another lottery win to tell you about. Congratulations to Adam Moreau of Hornpain, who won the Lotterio jackpot of more than $737,000 in the November 29th draw. The father of two says the win is bittersweet because he recently lost the love of his life. However, he plans to travel and invest in winnings. In Sudbury, the Homelessness Network is hoping to highlight the success of its Veterans Homelessness Program. CTV's Lindsay Alick met with one of the veterans who's received assistance.
Drew Beaudin joined the Canadian Armed Forces at the age of 19, serving from 2008 to 2011.
There's a lot of highlights, but I'd have to say the biggest one was getting sent to Ottawa as part of the Governor General's Foot Guards.
He says he left due to changes in the pension plan. Shortly after, he decided to join the Millwrights Union in Sudbury.
Having hearing loss from the training in the military, I had a very difficult time, so unfortunately I didn't make it past my probationary period.
In January 2025, he says he was living in Sudbury housing when his rent was raised dramatically.
I was on geared to income supplement, so I went from $115 a month up to $1,050. Not being able to hold down a job, I simply wasn't able to afford my rent.
He says at that point he knew he would have to move out. He ended up being homeless for a short time until a friend stepped in.
He was very kind to me and let me stay in his camper. No electricity, no water, but I was right up the road from McDonald's, so I was able to scoot down there and use the Wi-Fi and get stuff to eat. Wasn't the best, but it was certainly better than being out in the cold.
He says he lived there for a few weeks before being connected with the Veterans Homelessness Program, which has been successful in housing 11 veterans since it launched in October of 2024.
We're really happy with that so far. We're really hoping to promote the program so that more people who might not know about their options yet know about what's here in Sudbury to support either homeless veterans or persons who are at risk of homelessness because of affordability.
The program is made possible through federal funding, which will continue until 2028. Meantime, Beaudin says he is currently taking a university course and volunteering at the Lockerbie Legion on a regular basis. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Sudbury.
Finally for us tonight, a British woman who moved to Toronto last year is documenting her new home in a creative way. She's made a series of stamp-sized art of some of the city's most iconic locations. CTV's Jessica Smith reports.
First one I did was the Trash Panda, which
Gemma Chapman is putting her own stamp on the city with an art initiative called Toonie Stamps.
I arrived in Toronto a year ago from the UK, and initially it started as a way for me to document my time here.
And has grown into a pint-sized art series documenting iconic people, places, and items, like her favorite in the collection.
This stamp with the peaches really sums up all the farmers markets, all the produce, the kind of the way the city sprawls out onto the streets.
Wanting to support local while sharing her work, the idea of an art vending machine came to life. The first location, Golden Horseshoe Barbecue on DuPont.
This is a chewing gum machine that I converted into an art dispenser, and it's really, the project is about encouraging people to come on this journey with me and learn about Toronto and fall in love with it like I have.
It's a fantastic thing to have in a place like this. Like I said, it really represents the area that we're in, and I think more restaurants should be tying into the community that they're in.
Creating a tangible piece of Toronto you can take with you.
Chapman says she plans on continuing to expand the Toonie Stamp initiative by putting more of the stamp dispensers at different locations around the city, helping people discover Toronto in a fun and accessible way. Jessica Smith, CTV News.
Very cool, and that barbecue looked delicious. Just a quick note on that hockey score I told you about. I have to make a correction. It wasn't 4-2, it was 4-3 for Team West, but congrats to all those players involved. That takes us to the end of our newscast this Wednesday night. For the latest news anytime, remember you can head to our website, CTV News Northern Ontario.ca. You can also download our CTV News app. Thanks for watching. Good night.